Channel 2. The following special edition of Siskel and Ebert is brought to you by Orville Redenbacher, the first and last name in popcorn.
Do the right thing.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it. I'm gone.
Do the right thing.
Isn't that our cabana boy?
It's true. Yeah.
You're playing our cabana boy?
The Flamingo Kid.
I just wanted to tell you that Bobby here is madly in love with you and trembles at the sight of your rippling biceps.
American Graffiti. What do these three films have in common? Well, they're all movies that take place in the summer. And summer, the movies that are set in the summer and the movies we go to in the summer, will be featured on the special summer home video edition of Siskel and Ebert, which we're calling On the Sunny Side of the Screen. Plenty of good rental ideas on this show. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. We've tried to select some hits and some lesser-known summer movies worth renting. And as you'll notice, we normally wear sweaters. How could we wear sweaters on a summer movie show? Now, my first choice is a cheerful no-brainer called Back to the Beach, the 1987 reunion film of Frankie and Annette, Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello, those beach blanket bingo twins from the early 60s. Now, in this film, they've got kids of their own.
Sandy! Sandy, if you've got a guy in there, I'm going to cut off his toes and sell him to the bait shop.
Listen, this is my house, too, and it will not be driven out.
Ow, Dad! Ow!
He's battering down the door with someone's head.
Ow, Dad, my eyes are closing.
They're great together. Back to the Beach was nostalgic, to be sure, but it was also good-hearted. And part of the kick of seeing this picture was seeing how these actors, now in their 40s, look at each other and seemingly recall their previous good times just working together on those silly beach movies. Back to the Beach worked on that very simple level. It also recreates the sweet summer times of one's memory. I really enjoyed it.
I liked it too, Jeannie. You know, the best part of the film is the short little sequence starring Pee Wee Herman, who comes onto the beach and just brings things alive. And you know, I think it's time for Pee Wee Herman to stage a comeback. I think the scandal is in the past now. He was a great comic character. I'd like to see him again.
He was very good, but you also see how they took this familiar territory. We're seeing so many movies that are doing old TV shows and, you know, bringing back the... Here was one that had some imagination to it, and it really does work on its own.
They made it fresh.
You got it.
Okay, next movie. And our next movie set the tone for many summer movies that would follow. Released in 1971, it was called Summer of 42, and told the story of a young man's romantic initiation on a New England island during the first summer of World War II. The young man's dreams are obsessed by an older woman, she's all of in her early 20s, who has just seen her young husband off to war. She's played by Jennifer O'Neill, and one day she invites him in for a little coffee and sympathy.
Oh, do you have many friends on the island?
Yeah, two. But they're immature, you know.
Later, of course, the young woman discovers that the husband she hardly knew has been killed, and then the movie has a quietly tasteful love scene that a lot of people question. They didn't think it was psychologically possible, but somehow, in the heat of summer and with that lush Oscar-winning Michel Legrand score, the movie persuaded audiences. This was an influential summer movie for a couple of reasons. One, it was about young love, and two, it was about nostalgia. And for some reason, summer is always the most nostalgic season. Think also of movies like American Graffiti.
Well, you know, I had questions about the film when I reviewed it back in '71, but it is clearly an archetype. I mean, I mean, this is the standard by which a lot of pictures worked off of, and I think it's probably better at nostalgia than it is at the romance. I think
it is, yeah.
I think that the look of it, the feeling of the time, those feelings are right. The romance could have been handled, I think, in a little
One of the funny things about this movie, I wasn't around in the summer of '42, at least not in any conscious way, but it's funny how movies can make us nostalgic for things that we know only from the movies.
Yeah, World War II looked like great times over here, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's a little strange. Okay, coming up next, what to do on your summer vacation.
Cute, Jeffrey, cute. This is my life, being amused by a cabana boy.
Let's just find a motel. I don't want you dozing off.
I'm not tired. Are you kidding? Go another 100 miles. Come on. No problem.
And Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo set out there on their doomed National Lampoon's vacation as we continue this Siskel and Ebert special on the movies of summer. I guess there's something about summer that makes people think or hope or dream that they're going to find romance, even romance that has eluded them the rest of the year or the rest of their lives. In our previous segment, we talked about young love, but in a wonderfully romantic 1955 movie named Summertime, the subject is middle-aged love. The movie stars Katharine Hepburn as a spinster from Ohio who has saved up for a once-in-a-lifetime vacation in Venice. Wandering around, seeing the sights, she meets a Venetian played by Rosanna Brazzi, and for both of them, it's love at first sight.
Are you enjoying Venice, Signorina?
Yes, yes, I am very much, thank you.
It is the heart of Venice, the Piazza San Marco.
Yes, I felt that.
Oh, you feel Venice? That's a wonderful feeling.
Later, though, she finds out he's married and has a family, but somehow this interlude has been so perfect, so enchanted that she doesn't want to spoil it with reality.
You promised to take me to see the lace making, and now it's too late.
I will take you tomorrow.
You promise?
No.
Summertime was directed by David Lean, who made an earlier equally famous film named Brief Encounter, also about a romance between two middle-aged people who are not free to marry. The earlier film was in somber black and white winter tones. Summertime is in warm summery colors and has an enchantment that I suspect has sent a lot of people to Venice over the years looking for the kind of holiday romance that usually happens only in the movies.
You know, when you say Katharine Hepburn's name, I'm sure that a lot of our younger viewers think of her only as this older woman, this older figure, and selecting a film that's 40 years old, I think they're going to catch her mid-career and find this exciting, vibrant actress, one of the great distinguishing talents in the film, and that'll be very exciting. That's why it's a good video rental suggestion.
And she has great chemistry with Brazzi here, and it's not really a physical film, it's more like a meeting of two personalities. It really works, and it's on tape, and it's also out on a new Laserdisc edition.
Great. My next choice is a more personal story, The Flamingo Kid with Matt Dillon from 1984, and for teenagers, summertime can be a period of intense growing up as they meet adults on the adults' own turf, as does Matt Dillon, working as a pool boy at a Long Island country club.
Let's see. My queen on your jack, my jack on your 10, my 4 on your 4s. And I'm to knock you with 5, Mr. Roach.
Way to go, Sam.
It's an old theme in the movies. The innocent kid teaches adults a thing or two. But what I liked about The Flamingo Kid is its very particular vision by director Gary Marshall, recalling a time, the 60s, a place, and the way that young and old can have an effect on each other. Matt Dillon gives one of his best performances. I do strongly recommend renting The Flamingo Kid.
You know, I think for a lot of kids, a summer job is the first time they have to enter into the adult world.
Exactly
they may be on the bottom rung of the ladder, but they can see what people are doing further up on the ladder. People are having affairs at this club. They're cheating with cards.
I know.
It's the real thing. Coming up next, summer love in a summer camp and on a Greek island.
Every artist is an exhibitionist, Catherine, but only photographers are voyeurs.
You are the thumbs and the eyes. You are the energy and the shine. You are the hope and the voice. You are the rhythm and the gift. You are the open and the steady. You are the angel and the fist. You are the universe. You are the universe.
Is Julia guilty?
Not according to Suzanne.
I just said it was her time of the month and her hormones had made her insane.
Monday at 3 on Channel 2.
I had kissed my brother's...
Who's that?
Oh, them. They're the dance people. They're here to keep the guests happy.
My next choice of a great summer movie involves another hot weather tradition, the family resort vacation, where the young daughter this time grows up when she becomes involved with one of the staff members. The film is Dirty Dancing, and Jennifer Grey plays the timid daughter whose eyes and emotions are opened up by the resort's lively dance instructor, Patrick Swayze. Again, just like the Flamingo Kid, Dirty Dancing is very smart about its 60s milieu, and it all looks and sounds right, and at its center, some real passion and some real hot dancing.
In fact, you know, I didn't give thumbs up to this movie when we reviewed it, no, and you know, I've always felt that a lot of its success was based on the fact that it had one of the best titles in the history of the movies.
Oh, it's a great title, but there's a real love affair there.
You know, as I'm thinking over some of the titles on this show, it occurs to me, why is it that summer always seems to take place in the 50s or 60s? It's with Dazed and Confused takes place in the 70s.
Roger, I want to tell you something. I've got a picture coming up later on the show that you don't know about that is set in the late 80s.
Oh, really?
Okay. And the answer is going to be because those summers in the past were a lot more fun than summers now.
Okay, my next title is a wonderful but almost forgotten 1987 film named High Season, which takes place in the summer on the Greek island of Rhodes. And like a lot of summer movies, it brings together an odd assortment of people who would otherwise never meet. Summer is when you meet people who are off your track. Jacqueline Bisset stars as a British photographer who has long lived on the island. She's accepted by the locals, even the immortal Irene Pappas, who hates the tourist invasion. Pappas' son, on the other hand, has plans to construct a memorial to the unknown tourist and imports a sculptor played here by James Fox. He just happens to be Bisset's former husband.
And why does it have to be me who has to come up here and make up with you?
You said you never wanted to talk to me again in your life. Those were your words.
But you know I don't mean it.
This movie includes one of Kenneth Branagh's first screen appearances as a young British husband who at first seems bewildered to be on the island.
How long do you go here, Greece, to Turkey?
High Season was directed by Claire Peplow and written by her and her brother Mark, who also co-wrote Antonioni's The Passenger. I gave this movie 3 stars when it came out, but it stayed with me in my memory, and I think I probably should have given it more.
I think I did give it a half more, and I do like the film very much. It has an effervescent quality, sort of a dream of...
Magical, yeah.
It is very, very well done. It is the kind of picture that will get you to... You talked about going to Venice with summertime. This is the picture that will get you to want to go to Greece for a vacation there. It's very, very good.
Okay, coming up next, 2 different views about growing up over the course of a summer. Folks, the nostalgia of a summer that is over and will never come again. It's George Lucas's great 1973 film American Graffiti, about the last day of summer vacation and in some ways the last summer of American innocence. The movie takes place in 1962 on the night before some of the characters go off to college, others go off to jobs, and at least one heads in the direction of the Vietnam War. In a way, this is like the last hurrah of the 50s. The teenage culture of cars and cruising and drive-ins and non-stop disc jockeys on the radio and nobody aware that Kennedy was going to be shot and the whole world was going to change.
What did you say? Wait, what did you say? What did you say? Quick, hang a right. What? Why? Steven, cut over to G Street.
American Graffiti was filled with young actors who went on to become stars. Richard Dreyfuss, Ron Howard, Cindy Williams, and of course Harrison Ford. In a way, the movie is about the dreams of a summer night, that you would find romance or go faster than you had ever gone before or glimpse the secrets of your future. And of course, Lucas found the perfect image for those feelings in the mysterious figure of the blonde in the T-Bird who was so tantalizing but was only glimpsed from a distance.
Well, it's a great American movie. It doesn't matter the season. I mean, it's a spectacular film. One of the things that I love about it is that George Lucas has all sets of different couples meet each other, and they are all transformed by their meeting. You would not expect the four-eyed boy to be the hero who winds up with the bombshell girl. You would not expect the little teenage girl, the pre-teenage girl, to meet the hot rodder. And I think that one of the things the film is saying is that if the kids could get to out of their cliques and get into other groups, just like Dreyfuss meets the hoods in the film, that there's enchanting possibilities come. This film is full of hope. It's A great American movie.
A lot of recent movies about this age group have involved antagonism. And
Yes.
here is one that doesn't.
You bet. My next summer selection is Smooth Talk, which, like Dirty Dancing, is another coming-of-age story about a teenage girl and an older young man, told from a feminine perspective, this time by director Joyce Chopra. Smooth Talk is about a girl played by Laura Dern who meets a stranger played by Treat Williams. The effect he has on her is to trigger her natural sexuality.
Connie, you're not telling the truth. Today's your day set aside to go for a ride with me, and you know it.
That's what you think my name is?
It's Connie.
Maybe and maybe not.
Definitely maybe. I know my Connie.
Now, whereas a lot of the films we've been recommending on this show play the self-discovery issue of summer romance in a light way, Smooth Talk, I think, is very serious. It views the summertime invaded by an older stranger as a critical time period when young people playing with their emotions can be as dangerous as even younger people playing with matches. Smooth Talk is a most provocative summer romance. I recommend it highly.
You know, Gene, when I think of Smooth Talk, and by the way, you're absolutely right about this picture and about Laura Dern's performance, I think of heat. I think of how hot it is, and how hot it is for her. And it occurs to me that one of the reasons maybe that so many summer pictures are set in the 50s and 60s is before air conditioning. In a way, air conditioning has killed the summer in America. Sleeping with your bedroom windows open, sitting on the front porch, going to the beach, driving around with the top down, going to the drive-in for a Coke because it's so hot and humid. And that, of course, leads to sexuality, to sensuality, to restlessness, to all of the summer kinds of feelings that we have. And now people sit inside and it's 68 degrees and they watch television.
And, stay away from each other with lots of different, you know, with computers and cable and all these sorts of things.
Yeah,
well, that's one idea. When we come back, Surf's Up for the Beach Boys.
Dollar Rent-A-Car, your vacation specialist offering quality Chrysler cars including minivans and convertibles, land affordable rates at a convenient on-airport location in major leisure destinations in the United States.
For my last choice, a favorite film set in the summer on the hottest day of the year. It's Spike Lee's magnificent Do the Right Thing, which explains all of the hot racial summers we've had in this country, with tensions at their breaking point, in this case, on a single block in New York City.
No, you can't stand it. You can't stand it. I know you can't stand it. You can't stand it. I know you can't stand it. You can't stand it. I know you can't stand it. You can't stand it. You can't stand it.
One of the great set pieces of the film, a monologue about love and hate, written by Spike Lee, delivered by Bill Nunn as the unforgettable character Radio Raheem, whose tragic killing in the film triggers a racial conflict.
Hey, it was with this hand that Cain iced his brother. Love. These 5 fingers, they go straight to the soul of man. The right hand, the hand of love. The story of life is this. Static. One hand is always fighting the other hand.
I think Do the Right Thing should be screened in schools right before every summer vacation, and parents could take a look at it too. It's very much about what summer has become in America, a daily dance with the tragedy of racial divisiveness that threatens to tear apart our cities. I know of no better film about race in America than the summertime story, Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
Well, I don't either. And once again, you're quite right that it is a summertime story, and
Yes,
it's something about the heat. People are outside. If everybody was inside, none of that would happen. They're looking out the front window, they're sitting on the front steps, they're hanging out in the street, down by the fire hydrant, so that they become a community. And in a way, despite the tragedy that ends this film, one of the things that has always stayed in my mind about it is the fact that the people on that block do know each other and know where they fit in terms of their little microcosm of society.
There are so many places where people could do the right thing and don't do it in the film. There are so many unforgettable scenes, characters, the music of the film is so beautiful. Just that sequence can't beat the heat. I mean, this is, I've described it before as a perfect movie. I know it's a perfect movie.
Okay, well now from the sublime to the surf, my last summertime title is a 1985 documentary named The Beach Boys, an American Band. And one of the reasons I picked this movie is that for a lot of people, the sound of the Beach Boys will always mean summer and Surf's Up and Little Deuce Coupe's. The movie shows that it wasn't all summer fun for the Beach Boys, who had their share of personal problems, but the best scenes show them in their golden days, when they made Southern California seem like an endless summer of fun, 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 till her daddy takes her T-Bird away.
She makes 8,500 to like her own cherry and ray.
One of the thoughts inspired by a movie like this is that music, more than almost anything else, helps to fix our memories of times and places. If this song doesn't make you think about summer, nothing will.
We always take my car, cause it's never been beat, and we've never missed yet with the girls we meet. None of the guys go steady, cause it wouldn't be right to leave your best girl home on a Saturday night. I get around, I get around.
The Beach Boys have grown older like everybody else, and they've had their problems like everybody else, and summer turns into winter. But when you hear that music or see some of these movies on this program, the promise of summer somehow still works its old magic.
So we end with the Beach Boys, and we started with Frankie and Annette. But you know what we've put lie to in this show? That summertime meets frivolous movies, because look at how many of these films were serious thematically. It doesn't have to be light, or summer doesn't have to mean no-brainers. It can be substantial, and I hope we've given some good video recommendations on that score.
Okay, that's it for this special show. Next week we'll be back with reviews of new movies, including True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger as a spy out to stop nuclear terrorists, and Tom Hanks as a man short on smarts but loaded with luck in Forrest Gump.
Who in the hell is that? And there's Forrest Gump. Just a local idiot.
That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.